Hello, everyone. Oh dear. Well, that was heartbreaking, wasn't it? That really was. I thought we had it in the bag. I thought we had it in the bag. Um, yeah, just completely and utterly took the wind out of myself that last 15 minutes. I was not expecting that at all. We've played really well. We played so well in that game. Um, I didn't think that they were going to come back into it. I mean, yeah, you could look at it like that was pretty much our first team against, some might say, Man United reserves. I don't know. But we were good. We were incredibly good tonight. Some fantastic interplay between Bowen and Paqueta. Johnson was fantastic on at right back. He was keeping that Garnacho quiet. I thought we were really good throughout the team up until they made those changes and they started piling the pressure on. And like I say, that last 15 minutes, and then we had a couple of players that had a nightmare, didn't we? Oh dear. But we'll get into that in a minute. Obviously, once the starting lineups was released, I think we was all quite pleased. I weren't expecting that at all. I thought, Jesus Christ, he's going for it. He's actually going for it here. I weren't expecting it because we got Brighton, which is a huge game coming up on Saturday, which I'm going to. So I thought, yeah, okay. When you look at Man United's lineup, I thought we got a good chance here, and we did start it with a really. We was attacking them. We was controlling the game. We was in it. We was fantastic. And when that goal came, what a goal from Ben Rama. We were good value for that goal. Yeah, I know there's going to be arguments about was it over the line or not. I mean, it looked like it was over the line to me, but I think no one can contest the fact that we deserved it. We deserved to be in front at that point, absolutely. And what a finish from Benny! What a finish! He was fantastic tonight, as was Paqueta. As I said earlier on. Yeah, I'm just gutted. I was getting all primed, ready for a really, because I was sitting here before that game going, I've been having debates on Facebook with Kent saying we don't need the FA Cup. You don't want the FA Cup, because we've got the league to concentrate on. My God, that I've really enjoyed tonight up until that last 15 minutes. It's good to be in the cups, isn't it? It really is. It really is, and it just felt like once they went up a few gears, there wasn't really anything that we could do. Yes, there were some instances with missed chances. Obviously, Antonio, Mickey, he missed. Well, it was a bit of a sitter. That one where he was put through on goal. Benny slipped the ball through to him, and he's through 1-on-1 with De Gea. You knew he was going to miss. That's the problem with Antonio. With anything like that, if he's got too much time on his hands, he's going to kind of capitulate and it's not going to work for him. He just took the shot too late. He allowed the keeper to get too close to him. I think Ian Wright nailed it in the half-time analysis. He said the same thing. He said if you're a natural striker, you kind of you take that shot early, because the way De Gea came out, there was loads of the goal to aim at. And there was a couple of other chances as well. There was some great build-up play. Particularly, I remember Ben Rama and Emerson on that left-hand side. And Emerson flashed that ball across, a great ball across the 6-yard box, and Antonio was nowhere to be seen. Nobody gambled, nobody actually sort of ran in to that danger area. If somebody like Danny Ings had been playing, he probably would have been in that area. That's how we scored our second goal the other day. Similar sort of thing. It was a great ball, but there was no one anywhere near it. So again, I thought that we might sort of rue that kind of the missed opportunities in the first half, and so the game could have been dead and buried at that point. So yeah, it was a shame. It was a real shame when they made those changes. They brought Martinez on, they brought Rashford on, and then they just started cranking it up. Obviously, they had a goal disallowed. Casemiro scored. Set piece from Bruno Fernandes, and Casemiro was clearly offside. I don't know what they was looking at in VAR. It took ages. He was well offside. But it just kept on coming wave after wave. And then what happened next, I just don't know. From that corner, Areola probably doesn't cover himself in glory when he comes for the cross, you could say. But he had played amazingly up to that. He'd been brilliant. His distribution, he'd made some amazing saves. But Aguirre, my God, and it was. And that last goal, the last goal was a bit of an iffy one. I thought that Areola, looking at it again, I thought that potentially Areola maybe could have done a bit better. Because it looked like it was by his hand and he pulled it back. But if you look at it again on the replay, the ball's curled around Johnson, so he's unsighted. But still, you could say he could have done better. But ultimately, it was down to Aguirre. I mean, it felt like a career's worth of mistakes in about 15 minutes from Aguirre. He had an absolute nightmare. He couldn't deal with what was coming at him at all. So yeah, I'm completely heartbroken, to be quite honest. Gary's travelled up there. He's travelled up there today, so he was obviously buzzing when we was 1-0 up, thinking that we was going to breeze past Man United. It was looking that way, wasn't it? Because Man United were very subdued. The atmosphere at Old Trafford was dead quiet. All you could hear was West Ham singing that we're massive, and then that happens, But is there a lot of positives to take out of that performance? I think there are. Once we get over that smack in the face, which is what it is, it was a good performance against a very good team. I think that they were probably poor and under par and underpowered as well, understrengthed, because they didn't put out their best team. But we did kind of give it our all. We gave it our all. I mean, but yeah, I don't know. I've got some comments here. Let's go through the comments. Anyway, what we got here? Hang on. Barney McGrew, Roy Keane was spot on. It's a DNA thing. Yeah, no, I know. Dougie Montana, Jesus, we were shitting that last 30 minutes. It was like watching the Champions League side against the conference side. Utterly pathetic. Yeah, it was, but I think you've got to factor in that they really flew at us, didn't they? They did. They went up a couple of gears. Obviously they weren't playing at full whack at the start. They had the big boys rested. I know that Fernandez was playing, but my God, it was. Yeah, you are right. The last 30 minutes, it was coming, wasn't it? I know there was mistakes in there, but I think it was going to go bandy. Whatever happened, whether Aguirre had made that mistake or not, I think they was going to score. They was going to win. It's just the way it felt in the end. Moyes doing what he does best. Certainly at Man United, losing. Yeah, no, I know. Get Antonio out of my club. Oh, yeah. But the trouble is, mate, he's played up there. As that centre forward, he doesn't play himself. We know it's not surprising. We know he's not clinical. That's the issue that you've got when you play in there. I can't be frustrated with him. I think he done well. I think he apart from spilling those bloody opportunities that probably would have got us through to the next round. He did well. He worked hard. He won fouls. He got Maguire booked. He's not a clinical striker, mate. He never has been, He's not a striker, is he? Antonio blew it again. Yeah, no, that's right from Keith. What's this? I never knew Bayern was playing until the 84th minute. I know, I can't quite work out when he came on. But it was a cruel way to lose, though, 1-0 up for the lion's share of that game, and then like I say, the minute they felt like they could just breeze past us, they could go up a few gears, they swept us aside, and there was nothing that we could do. Nothing at all. The midfield was non-existent at that point. I don't know whether we regressed or whether we fell to pieces. I don't know. My voice is going again. Probably shouldn't be drinking red wine. Um, Steve Bell, only West Ham can snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. I know. That was capitulation at its finest, wasn't it? It really was. I mean, the mistakes were fucking unbelievable there. 1 minute. Oh, sorry. What's this? We played out. It just fell apart. Yeah. No, no. I know. The last 30 minutes were a killer. We've got Andy Miles. Antonio has something on Moyes to keep him. What's this? To keep on playing. If I performed like he does on the pitch at my job, I'd get the sack. Yeah, but are you judging him just on his finishing alone, Andy? Because we know he's not clinical. We know he's not. You know, I don't think he's on there to score goals when he plays in that system. I think he's on there to be a battering ram. That's why Moyes plays him. If Moyes judged Antonio on goals, he wouldn't be playing, would he? So obviously he's doing what Moyes wants him to do. What we got here? Mikel Antonio is as good as a bucket with a hole in the bottom. Any other forward player? Yeah, I mean, look, the one that done me, the real telling one for me was that in the first half where Emerson flashed that ball across the 6-yard box. You are thinking to yourself, where is the striker? And he weren't even in the 18-yard box. I don't know where he was, and he weren't involved in the build-up. So I'm not too sure. Hello, Jordan. Not surprising that result. It took 89 minutes to replace Antonio. I know. I know. It's embarrassing. John, huge opportunity missed yet again. It's an opportunity missed, but did they not show in the end? Sadly, they're a class above us, aren't they? And the minute they wanted that game and they was behind, there wasn't really much that we could do about it. We did fall to pieces. But that was it just us falling apart, or did they steamroller us? I can't work it out. I'm shell shocked by it all. Yes, they are, Jamie. Yep. I know. Well, Gary's down there at the moment. He's not happy with him. He said they was quiet for 80 minutes. Nothing, not a peep out of them. And then they're he's fuming. I might give him a call in a minute. Moyes out. Yeah. Again, nothing's changed on that front for me. But it was a good performance. I was enjoying the game. I was enjoying the occasion tonight. Weren't you? Up until it went to shit, it was good for 2/3 of the game. And we put a lot into that game as well. So to put a lot into that game with a lot of our first team players that are going to be playing on Saturday at 3:00, and then to get beat 3-1 is, if you're gonna look, clearly we did go out to win that game. He hasn't thrown it. He wanted to win it. He desperately wants to win at Man United. He just can't do it. He hasn't got it in him. But it just felt like we was growing in confidence, didn't it? Up until they got that goal, the goal that got disallowed. Up until that came, it felt like we were growing in confidence. We were 1-0 up and we were getting better and better. I can't work out why it went the way it did in the end. We completely fucking fell to pieces. Martin Duggan, yeah, so poor for the last 30 minutes. It was, mate. It was. We could have done with Danny Ings, but to be fair, he wasn't, he was cup tied, so we couldn't have played him anyway. But yeah, I don't know. What's this? Oh yeah, where are all the Benrahma haters? He was fantastic tonight, wasn't he? I would say up until he scored, he was brilliant up until he scored. Then he seemed to disappear a bit. It was probably at that point I might have taken him off and made a change. He was fantastic tonight, though. Him and Paqueta, some of their link-up play was fantastic. Really, really good. Yeah, there's a lot of people saying the same. Antonio let us down badly. This is the trouble. When you're playing at this level, and I know it's only the FA Cup, whatever else, but when you're playing against a team of the level of Man United, you're really going to have the opportunity to be, the better team in a game for large portions of it. And when you are in that situation, you create chances. You've got to take them. You've got to take the chances. We didn't do it. We didn't do it at all. I am sorry. I won't be on too long because my voice is going to go. What's this? Esau says, no, can't blame Moyes for today. No, I can't. Not for today. I can blame Moyes for a lot, but I don't think I can blame him too much for today. You know, I think the players on the pitch have got to look at themselves a little bit. I know that Man United made some tactical tweaks and they made some changes, but that shouldn't have resulted in that level of, I mean, the goals were that there was individual mistakes for a start. The ones that we conceded, it was an absolute fucking mess, wasn't it? There wasn't a single goal that Man United scored that was clean. It all originated from defensive mistakes from us, unforced errors. So the players just seem to crack, which maybe happens when you're lacking confidence. I don't know. JD, he was making substitutions and Moyes wasn't doing anything. No, he weren't. Yeah, no, but that is a problem with Moyes though. He doesn't. He set the team up well today. I'll give him that. But he has his game plan and he's not reactive in any way. He doesn't react to a situation. I should say he does react, but he reacts too late. You don't really want to react to the situation before you. A good manager will see something going south and they'll make a change to prevent you conceding. They'll go, oh no, look, if this is going wrong, they're going to score here, and they'll make changes and tweaks. Moyes don't do that. He sits on his hands. We know he does, and he'll wait until it's definitive that he's got to change it, by which point it's often too late. And the pendulum has swung. Guarino, hello mate. Played well for 60 minutes, didn't take our chances. Antonio, I know. But then we retreated into our shells. They had a stronger bench. But look, everyone is caning Antonio here. Everyone's caning him. Antonio was nowhere. The worst player on that pitch today, the one who lost us that game, was Aguirre. I'm telling you now, Aguirre lost us that game. I know if Antonio would have converted his chances, would have been a few more up. We would have been. But Aguirre just completely and utterly fell to pieces. Like I say, that was like a career's worth of mistakes in 15 to 30 minutes. It was obscene. He looked shit. He weren't a Rolls Royce tonight, was he? More like a fucking larder. He was terrible. I know he's a good player, but he was not good tonight. So we got John. It would have to be Andy Bell from Erasure to score their second. I'll tell you, it was a shame that bloke, that what's his name? Who's the silly blonde fucker on the left-hand side? Garnacho, is that his name? Because we didn't see much of him tonight. He's highly rated. He's a youth player, isn't he? From Man United that Ten Hag's brought through. Johnson was brilliant tonight with him. He really kept him quiet. He was getting no change out of Johnson at all. He was superb. So it was such a shame that he ended up scoring because, aside from that, I think Johnson done a fantastic job on him. So yeah, it was a shame he did score. Really, I didn't like him, and I didn't like that Anthony either. I wanted someone to go right through the back of him. Irritating little fucker he is. I didn't like him at all. Antonio is to scoring what Gemma Collins is to pole vaulting and dancing on ice. Yeah, I know. Have you seen that clip? I know. Look, he don't pick himself, mate, does he? He don't pick himself. It is frustrating. Amanda, if only we're taking those chances in the first half. I know. I think everyone's feeling the same. You could see it, couldn't you? I said it earlier on. When you're on top of a team like Man United, you've got to take your chances. You can't expect to keep on getting loads and loads. And that's the difference between good teams and excellent teams and good teams. Excellent teams can play poorly and they'll get a handful of chances and they'll score the goals. And teams like West Ham typically need fucking 10 to 15 chances to score 2 goals. It's not good enough, really. What's this? No, my blood pressure's all right, mate. I'm not. I'm under the weather, so no chance of my blood pressure creeping up. I ain't slept really for 2 days. We lack pace. They have loads of pace. Yeah, no, I know. Steve Bell might bump into you on Saturday. Are you down there? Are you? Are you down there? We're going to be getting down there nice and early as well. Drop us a text, mate. I'm sure you've seen my number on the show. Drop us a text and we'll have a beer before the game. Be good. I'm going to have my boy with me. He lives down in Eastbourne. One of my boys, anyway. Negative from Moyes again after 65 minutes. I don't know whether it was negative. It just weren't. He didn't react to the situation. I wouldn't say it was negative. He didn't make loads of negative substitutions, or we didn't go into our shell or anything like that. It's just that he didn't react to the opposition manager making tactical changes. It's like he doesn't expect it, and that's what gets me about David Moyes. Is it too much to ask for your manager to be dynamic? Is it? It's like he has one game plan that he works on all week. That's the plan, and you must not deviate from it. If it works, it works. If it don't, you're fucked. And this season, more often than not, it ain't fucking worked, has it? Black Country, hello, mate. It's got to be Antonio gone in the summer. I think he will be, mate. I think he will be. But again, I'm not going to be on his case too much for tonight. We know what his weaknesses are. You know, I think he played well apart from the two sloppy finishes, which he got him on target. You know, that's one good thing. He didn't put him into Rowe's head, but he's not a natural striker. He's not instinctive. You know, he's not. Sam Field, Antonio has to square that instead of shooting. So frustrating. What do you guys think? I thought that, but then I looked at it again. I don't think he quite had the angle. I think he was looking across the face of goal to slot it in, because then that would have I wouldn't say wrapped it up, because we lost it 3-2 in the end, 3-1. But you would have thought at 2-0 up, we could have then really tightened up. Moyes could have then made some defensive substitutions, and we could have tried to hold on to it. But yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't think he quite had the angle. My first thought was, yes, why didn't you fucking square it? But on the replay that I watched, I'm not too sure. I think he was well within his rights to take the shot, although maybe he should have done it a little bit better. It was at a good height for De Gea. De Gea didn't have to do too much, did he? Hammer 89, undoubtedly. But but Ings is a quality Premier League striker. He's a clinical finisher. You know, it's not Antonio's fault that he's not. You know, don't forget. Oh, come on, mate. Come on. Not very nice. Not very nice. If Antonio is wank, then what the fuck is Aguero? If you're gonna judge him on that, you know, a striker can't score goals, and you got a defender that can't fucking defend. That was one of the worst defensive collapses I've seen from a defender in a West Ham shirt tonight from Aguero. It was fucking awful. It was awful, pathetic. Some of the clearances, some of the decisions he was making, you know, all capped off with that lovely own goal. It was a good finish, wasn't it? Johnson played so well. Yes, he did, mate. He did play well. I thought he was brilliant, actually. Flemmer, 1977. Benny Paqueta, Rice, excellent. The rest, shit. I don't know about that. What for the whole game? I couldn't say that. Not at all, really. I think I thought Fornals, you know, at times in that first half, some of his passing was absolutely outstanding. So no, I can't say that. I mean, look, I am Moyes out. You know, I'm never going to be any different. Okay, I am, but I will give credit where it's due. And tonight, I'm not going to say we deserve any credit because we felt the pieces, but and that's fucking heartbreaking. But I don't think we set out there negatively to throw the game. I think we went out there to try and win it at Old Trafford, and we just didn't. We didn't win it, unfortunately. I think that's just the way it went tonight, you know. And I am far more. It was a result that I was expecting, by the way. I was expecting us to lose tonight, but I wasn't expecting us to play as well as what we did. I wasn't expecting us to go in front. My expectations started to raise during the game. I started to get excited, and my heart got broken mid-game, and I feel a bit crushed now. It's what happens with football, isn't it? But no, we did go out there to try and win the game. I'll just worry about Saturday now. That's going to really knock the stuffing out of them. It is physically knock the stuffing out of them as well, because they really put in a shift tonight, you know. Joe Russell, Fornals was quiet. He could have attacked the goal a few times. He was tracking back. He was covering, mate. If you watched him, you know, Fornals is up. He's when Fornals is played in that position, he was with. He's one of the reasons why Johnson probably had quite a good game as well, because Fornals was never too far from Johnson. It's something that he's just added to his game. You know, he's defensively resolute, and the shortfall of that is that we lose his attacking output, and his attacking output is great. But unfortunately, because he's been moist to a degree, he's now become a bit more of a defensive-minded player as opposed to offensive. Yeah, he wasn't really playing as a right winger, was he? And that's positional. That's down to what Moyes has asked him to do. JD, I could do with some of that. Raven mate Hag was making. What's this? Raven mate Hag was making substitutions, and we brought Bowen on. Okay, great. You have 4 subs left. Refresh your team. Yeah, no, I know. He freezes though, doesn't he? I think we know that about Moyes. I think when this is Ten Hag we're talking about and David Moyes. Ten Hag obviously knew what to do to change things up. He did that. David Moyes he freezes in those situations. Do you remember a lot when we played the likes of Brighton when Potter was there, and when you got managers that are tacticians and they know what they're doing, David Moyes isn't a tactician. He's certainly not dynamic. You know, he can't do anything mid-game. He can't do anything mid-game to affect a result. If his game plan isn't working, you know, he sets his team up in such a way that should make us hard to beat. You know, it's like a one-size-fits-all. That is a David Moyes shape and formation. He sets his team up. It should be able to be solid, hard to beat, but able to grab goals on the counter. And it is a lazy fucking way to play because it's unimaginative and it is one-size-fits-all. But that means that, you know, he doesn't really have to, it doesn't exploit his weaknesses, even though it has exploited his weaknesses on several occasions because he's not dynamic. He doesn't make any fucking changes. Garino. He's got more football in it. Yes, no, he's got far more footballing intelligence than David Moyes. I've never seen a manager be so lackluster mid-game when we're struggling. I've never known a manager like we've seen with David Moyes. He's so he's not proactive. He's not you can't even call him reactive because by the time he reacts, more often than not, when he has to, and change things, quite more often than not, the game's gone. You know that the moment has passed. He's left it too fucking long. So I've never known a manager like it. It's like he does freeze and he gets confused and he divers and he's like, should I put this bloke on? You know, I mean, I coach my son's football team and I sometimes have those moments. You know, at a lower level. I'm not a Premier League manager, but I get the impression like he gets the same issues as me. Like if I'm 1-0 down or something like that, I'm like, oh, who should I put on this? That, the other? He shouldn't have them fucking problems. He should know exactly what he's doing. He does it as a full-time job. He should have tactical plans for every scenario drawn up. He should know exactly how to mitigate anything with the players that he's got at his disposal. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know of him. You're turning me on Moyes, you lot again. You know, not that I need turning on Moyes, but yeah, it was a shame tonight. You know, if we could have wrapped the game up with 2/3 of it gone, we'd have all been happy. But unfortunately, a game is 90 minutes long, and yeah, it's a killer. It's a killer. All right, let's flick through some of these. Mr. Mace, Aguirre had one tonight. Been great for us recently, but he imploded. Fuck me, did he implode? That was bad. Go back and watch some to actually get the gravity of how bad it was. Watch some of the replays because I thought he'd made mistakes on a few of them, but he was shocking. Not in just the goals that we conceded, in some of the other chances in the build-up. His passing was shit. It was shocking. His clearances. He was he was a big reason why we fell to pieces tonight. And you can't blame Moyes for that, unfortunately. Well, you can because he bought him. But we know he's a good player. He's been good for us up to this point, so you can't go caning him too much. But look, this is the FA Cup. You need winners if you want to win things. That wasn't a winner's performance, was it? It weren't. That was a performance of someone whose arse fell out. His arse fell out when it came to it. Gaz Hammer, Moyes doesn't react to changes on the pitch quickly. He doesn't react to changes on the pitch. He doesn't react. You know, quite often when he does make changes, they are simply like for like changes. He'll bring a striker off, he'll put a striker on. He won't. Rarely will you see him change shape because quite often in a game, when you're playing the opposition, you'll see the opposition manager. They won't just make changes; they'll make tactical tweaks. They'll get players to change sides to target fucking weaknesses that they've picked up on. They'll change shape. They'll add more bodies in the middle. They'll add more players out wide. They'll try and expose weaknesses. David Moyes doesn't do it. He doesn't. He's got a one-size-fits-all tactic. That's it. You know, irrespective of what shape he plays, it's because of the mentality of the team. When you're playing with defensive-minded players in the middle and players like Fornals, who isn't a defensive-minded player, even though he's been made that way by Moyes. You know, I'm sure Fornals would like to be a forward-thinking, creative player, but that's not how he's getting in David Moyes' team. He's getting in there as a a fetcher and carrier, you know. So you've got all of these kind of defensive, responsible players on the pitch, and then it falls on the shoulders of the likes of Ben Rama and Antonio to try and create something and score. So absolute. It was going to be a worldie that we scored tonight, and it was, you know, from Ben Rama. It was absolutely outstanding. You know, he was brilliant. But yeah, maybe if we'd have had Ings on the pitch tonight, then we probably would have scored a couple. I think certainly that one that Emerson flashed across that really pissed me off. I reacted badly to that. It was just the fact that it weren't even like a quick build-up play. I mean, I love the fact that you had Ben Rama on the left and you had Emerson. Watch that replay. Busting a gut, bombing on that overlap. Brilliant overlapping fullback run. The ball finds its way out to Emerson and he whips a lovely ball across that 6-yard box. And have a look. Antonio isn't even in the field of view of the fucking camera. I don't know where he is. But he wasn't involved in the build-up. So where is the striker? Why isn't he there? Why ain't he in the fucking box? Not in the 6-yard box. He ain't even in the 18-yard box. See, that annoyed me. That wound me up. Benson Dean, just a West Ham luck. It's not really luck, though, is it? I don't think that was luck tonight. If anything, I think we got a bit of luck. Because my opinion was that ball, looking at it, that was over the line. You know, the one that Souček, he struggled to. I thought he didn't keep it in from, you know, what led up to Ben Rama's goal. So I think we got a little bit of luck there because we couldn't have complained if that had been ruled out. You know, it wouldn't have been outrageous. The ball had crossed the line. So yeah, I don't know, and we felt the pieces. It was individual luck. It's in individual errors. Amanda says Ings would have scored tonight. Yes, I agree. He would have. Eastside says Nick Fornals needs to go in there when Emerson passes it. He does, and so does Benny, mate. Have a look again because Benny plays the pass out to Emerson, and then do you know what he does? He stands there admiring his pass. He's the closest to Emerson. Any other forward in that position there, what he should have done is he should have spun and gone straight into that area. He did nothing. He just stood there admiring passes, which is something I scream at my kids for doing. You know, they'll ping a nice sort of 20, 30-yard pass and just stand there admiring it. Pass and move. He didn't do that. So yes, Fornals could have got in there. Antonio could have got in there. So could your mate Benny. But he did score a great goal, so we can't moan at him too much. Sam Oakes says Paqueta is a baller. Don't even care. Yeah, no, he's brilliant. He didn't lose the ball too much tonight, though, did he? I don't think Paqueta. I think he was good. Nick Ayling says I don't blame Moyes for this. The players switched off. Yeah, they did. They did. I think that maybe Moyes could have, because this was coming. You know, it didn't happen in 5 minutes. It was coming for about the last half an hour. I think that maybe David Moyes could have done something a bit more positive. He could have reacted to the situation a little bit quicker than what he did in some way. I don't think he did. I think he just kind of, you know, stands there with his hands in his pockets, crossing his fingers. I think that's keep the faith. He's a man of the Lord, isn't he, David Moyes? Andy Miles, Man City versus Burnley, Man United versus Fulham, Brighton versus Grimsby. Is that the draw? Is that the draw? Yeah, so we'd have still had fucking City to play. Mind you, it don't look bad, does it? It don't look bad. So we'd have been in the quarterfinals. Oh, it is a bit of a killer, isn't it? It is a bit of a killer. Wasn't meant to be. Should have brought one Lanzini to help. Absolutely agree. Now, I said that myself, but that's one bridge too far, isn't it? For David Moyes. He won't do that. He doesn't see that. You know, when a team that you're facing is in the ascendancy and they're all over you and you can't get the ball off of them, sometimes it's a good idea that when you win the ball back to try and keep the ball. So having technical players on there, it can help. And the crazy thing is that Fornals, I don't know whether you know Greeno, but Fornals and Lanzini, it was a stat that I stumbled on. This is from last season. It was on Sky Sports. Pablo Fornals and Lanzini had the, I think that was in the top 10 for pressing stats per 90 minutes in the whole league. They come on, they press, and then when they've got the ball, they're technical. They can hold it. So yeah, you have got to look at this. You know, he doesn't use his squad so well. Is my sound gone? Please tell. Oh, no. How long was my sound gone for? Sorry, I'll mute it. I'll mute it when I cough. I'll stop muting it. Sorry. I'm well behind on the chat. I'll stop muting myself. I'll flick down the chat a little bit. All right, hang on a minute. So we've got Dabs. Benny standing up to Malacia was good when we had the throw in. Yeah, it was. It was good. Trudge, hello mate. Aguirre just lost his head. Fucking did he lose his head, mate? That was bad. You know, he didn't recover either. That's not the mark of a top level player. We're talking about him being our captain, weren't we? You know, and why? You know, he's been so good up to this point. Why did he fall to pieces like that? He's not that young. He's not that young. Tasty one. Antonio awful. Aguirre awful. Another one we've ruined. Yeah, Johnson was fantastic tonight. He would have been my pick as well for man of the match. I thought he was outstanding. He was brilliant. You know, what a player. What a player we got there. Areola was fantastic as well up until the mistakes. You know, I don't really know who to blame for that. I mean, obviously Aguirre's massively at fault, but I think Areola probably could and should have done a little bit more as well. Aguirre was playing on the right. You can't judge him too much. Well, I think the mistake that he made, the last one, for the goal that led up to, is it Garnacho for his goal? He was on the left-hand side, wasn't he? I don't know, mate. Is there that much of a difference when you're a centre-back? I know, I'm not too sure. He's quite comfortable with both feet as well, Aguirre. But yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. But you got to call it as you see it. He was bad. If I was doing player ratings tonight, he'd have been a fucking donkey. He'd have been getting a 4, maybe lower. He was bad. The chemistry between Areola and Aguirre does need some work. Yeah, it can't be a communication barrier because they both speak the same language, didn't they? So I'm not sure what that was all about because they were having some arguments. I noticed that. They was disagreeing with each other a little bit. So maybe there's that as well. Maybe when you bring a new keeper in, there's got to be the centre backs have been used to working with Fabianski. They know what he's going to do, which isn't much. He doesn't come off of his line for a start, so it's not hard to know what Fabianski's going to do. He's a great shot stopper, but he don't do much else. You know, he's always in between the sticks. Whereas Areola's a bit more daring. He does come out. He comes out. He wants to be a bit more of the sweeper keeper, and he tries to push the centre backs up. I don't know whether you noticed. You know, he does. He kind of barks at the centre backs as well, which I like. You know, he's sort of screaming at them to get up. I like all that, but maybe there was a bit of a power struggle back there. I don't know. But there's no reason that we can't blame that for what happened in front of Areola, Aguirre, because that was poor. Emerson had a few good moments in the first half. Yeah, he did. I don't think he played that bad. Epic says, "What a pity we didn't sell Antonio in January." Yeah, he's not a clinical forward, and he probably would be useless to anyone that was looking for a striker to score goals because he ain't a goal scorer. But I kind of think that to David Moyes, because of David Moyes and the way that he wants to play, he's priceless because there probably aren't any other players that can play the way that Antonio plays in that system. You know, Ings would look shit if we played him up front on his own with no one in and around him. Skamaka has looked shit when he's been played that way. Antonio's the only one that can do it. You know, it's almost like the forward player in a preferred Moyes system. Their job isn't to score goals. You know, it's like that's secondary. You don't really have to do that. You just just a water carrier up the front. I don't know. It's a bit weird. But anyway, look, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna cut this one short because my voice is going. So I do apologise. I'm gonna cry off. So thank you for watching and watching me moan. I don't think I moaned too much, did I? Can we get Gary on the phone? I've waited for a text. He hasn't texted me. So not tonight. We're gonna do. I think Gary's gonna do a daily ramble tomorrow. He'll do a daily ramble tomorrow. So he'll let you know what his thoughts were. He's fuming. So he might have calmed down by tomorrow. If I was him, I'd record it tonight. You know. But we'll see. Thanks all for joining, and I'll see you all again soon. All right, then. Sorry, it's a short one. But honestly, my voice is going, and I don't want to keep on coughing down the mic. All right, I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, guys.